And now we're recording. And hi and welcome everyone to today's Jfokus Brown Bag Lunch. Today we will talk about security and cross-site scripting, and hopefully maybe some live coding. I'm not sure. And for that, I would like to introduce today's speaker, Patrycja. Please welcome and introduce yourself, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Patrycja Wegrzynowicz. It's very difficult to pronounce, I guess. I've been doing professional software development for over 20 years. I'm the founder and main consultant of Ion Labs. At Ion Labs, we work on automated tools for detection and refactoring of software defects, including security vulnerabilities, performance anti-patterns, database issues. So basically, many ways of shooting yourself in the foot is my daily job. So I guess I will start screen sharing. Do you see my screen?
Yes, it looks really good. Perfect.
So today's agenda, a very brief introduction to cross-site scripting, and we'll focus on 5 demos hosted in Oracle Cloud, followed by some prevention techniques, how to avoid XSS in real world. I guess that most of you know what XSS is. So I won't spend a lot of time on this brief introduction. Basically, cross-site scripting is an injection of malicious scripts into otherwise okay website. It includes injection HTML as well as JavaScript. Usually, it includes JavaScript, as with JavaScript you can do much more harm as a hacker, obviously, as a developer as well. Basically, cross-site scripting happens when an application uses input from a user and includes it in a generated output without any input validation and without any output escaping. So basically, in most modern frameworks, you have quite good support for anti-XS with anti-XSS rules. However, it still happens. And moreover, we have a lot of legacy applications we need to support. And for those applications, usually it's 100%, and in some place you have some way to inject JavaScript or HTML. Basically, you have XSS. Cross-site scripting was among top 10 security vulnerabilities for years. I guess that you know OWASP, Open Web Application Security Project. It's a non-for-profit organization which aims at increasing security awareness among developers. And basically, OWASP publishes top 10 security risk lists every couple of years. The last one is from 2017. And cross-site scripting is number 7. It went down 4 positions because in 2014 it was number 3. Still, it's included in the list. It's a widespread vulnerability, easily exploitable. So as developers, we must be aware of it and how to prevent it. Basically, the problem is that it's very easy to exploit XSS. Together with some other vulnerabilities in your application, it might produce quite huge technical impact on your application, including, for example, session hijacking, tokens stealing, etc. So basically, it's good to know whether or not you have such a vulnerability, just to protect other parts of application together with XSS. The other problem is with XSS is that it's widespread. It's very difficult for libraries to cover all corner cases. So even though modern frameworks support anti-XSS rules and proper output escaping, still in some corner cases, every year there are a couple of vulnerabilities discovered in modern frameworks. On the bright side is that XSS is pretty easy to detect. So it might be done with automated tools or with some sort of security audit, penetration testing, etc. That's all about theory. Let's focus on practice. I gave this talk a couple of years at Code One, and that was one of reactions. So that's what I want to show you. I want you to show you real working XSS, plus I want you to experience it yourself. So just a brief introduction to stored XSS, reflected XSS, and we'll move to the first demo. Reflected XSS is when you inject script basically into URL, and it's reflected off the web server and delivered to a victim. Stored XSS is when you inject a script permanently on a target server, usually in a database. It includes visitor logs, forums, comments, etc. And a victim is attacked via regular page browsing. In case of DOM XSS, the attack payload is executed via modifying DOM environment. Basically, I would propose a little bit different categorization based on where XSS data is persisted and where is used. It might be stored or reflected, and it may be used on the server or on the client side. Okay, so let's move to the first demo. I will post links on my Twitter account, YonLabs. So I guess I would ask you to go to Twitter and access those links over there. I have prepared a simple application. It's available under xss.yonlabs.com.
I'm also posting these links in the chat.
Oh, perfect. Thank you very much. And basically, it's just some sort of a comment system. We can publish comment if you are logged in. We see public comments, etc. We can filter by author. And we have only one field, active field here. So this field must be vulnerable, and it must be vulnerable to XSS. So let's test it. To properly inject a script or any code in that matter, you need to take a look at the page source, and you need to properly close the tags and open just to complement the closing part of the tag in the place you want to inject. So that's why it's not a simple script. I'm closing input and including span just to start, just to create a fake tag for the closing of the original input tag. And here you have. So we see that this is a vulnerable field. We reflected XSS. And now I post this link to you. I would like for you to test on your browser the code. So let me know in chat whether or not you experience and see alert box. Any luck so far? Oh, I can post the link in chat, I guess. It might be more convenient for you.
Yes, Twitter is actually shorting them, so it's just hard.
It doesn't matter whether it's short or not. Okay, so I see at least one of you got the alert. What about? Okay, perfect. It's not always the case. Why? Because, for example, some browsers like Safari use XSS auditor. This is some sort of a filter which tries to prevent XSS. So you see, when I pasted the link into Safari, I didn't get the alert. So it depends on your browser and usually on your configuration. Basically, the only browser who supports XSS auditor at the moment is Safari. Google Chrome removed XSS auditor in 2019, so over a year ago. Why? Because XSS auditor itself has some problems and it can be pretty easily bypassed. Yeah. So 2 years ago, most people with Chrome browsers didn't get the alert. Now they are getting the alert. So most popular browsers don't have XSS filters by default. Basically, the attack vector was pretty simple. For cases where we want to bypass XSS auditor, some time ago, it worked to use another attack vector, like downloadable script. So XSS auditor a year ago didn't recognize this as an attack, and the script was downloaded and executed. We can try it on with your browsers. So now moving to the other attack vector, and Firefox browser, as it's usually the most friendly when it comes to security demos. Okay, so pasting link into chat and try it yourself. This time we didn't include alert. It was the script included, and the script is pretty simple. It just alerts, in this case, on the server on which the script is included. There is another message just to distinguish between the regular alert and the downloadable one. So as I mentioned, this bypass worked some time ago, like last year it worked. However, it's been fixed, and XSS Auditor now properly recognizes this as an attack, and it's blocked in Safari, but still Firefox and Chrome are vulnerable. What was the impact? Basically nothing dangerous, right? So the question is, how can we do more harm, obviously, as hackers? I will show you a case of phishing. So this time, first I would like you to create an account, register in my application. Please don't use any real data. So use a nickname and use obviously fake passwords, because I'm warning you, I'm gonna steal your passwords. So don't use any valuable passwords or any important information in your passwords. So please register. And then I'm preparing another attack. If you are ready with registering your account, you can click my link and just log in. You will see what happens.
So where do we get the link?
It's in the chat.
Ah, you put it there. Okay.
If you prefer it on Twitter, it's more comfortable for me, but I suppose that for you it's better in the chat window. What do you prefer?
You can post it in Twitter. I actually don't see it in the chat. I don't know why. Do everybody else see it in the chat? I don't know why I'm.
Okay, so I will post it on Twitter. Wait a minute. Okay, posted. Oops, we have a problem. Oh, it's never so easy to do online demos. However, I didn't experience such problems before. It seems that my server is down. Okay, now it should work. I had some problems.
It's back up.
Yeah, obviously, it's in the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
So fortunately, I'm able to use Oracle Cloud due to being Groundbreaker ambassador, and it helps a lot with my bills. Okay. I guess it was the wrong link. Sorry for the mess. I guess I'm not very good at remote presentations. It goes much better in real life. Wait a moment. It should be this link. I will test it myself first. Yes, that's the one. Okay. So now when I click the link and I will try to log in, you see that instead of a profile page, we see your data have been stolen. Where those data went? They went to my server. Oh, so you see more username and passwords coming in. Basically, what happened? I will show you the JavaScript which was downloaded and executed in your browsers. Basically, this JavaScript overrides the page originally the browser pointed to. In this case, it overrides with a login register page. So far, nothing dangerous. We just open login register from our application, but in a less orthodox way. But what happens here? Here it happens that that the phishing script replaces all actions in all forms just to point to the hacker server. So whenever you click on any form on this page, you will go to all the data posted through this form will go to the hacker server. So in my case, it's a completely different server. The original demo is hosted in Oracle Cloud, while the hacker server is hosted on Amazon Web Services. So you see that how easily we can exploit XSS when it's available in the application. And actually, sometimes it happened that I got confused, and when I clicked this phishing link, I thought I was logging into a regular application. So that's why XSS is so dangerous, because there are many ways how you can exploit it, how a hacker can exploit it. And some of them are really pretty tricky and can confuse user, and it's really difficult to notice what's going on.
So Patrycja,
Yes.
we noted that your laptop might die soon. You have like
sorry.
You have like 8%.
Yep, it's better now. Thank you for the warning. Yeah, it would be pretty inconvenient. Okay, so we've already I've already explained the phishing JavaScript. So the impact in this case is pretty huge: stolen usernames and passwords. For another demo, I will enable the functionality of adding comments, and I will hijack one of your sessions. So basically, please log into the application. I will go to my server, and I'm enabling adding comments. So at the moment when you log in, but use the regular link and the original page, we have a new option available. You can add comments. So at the moment, I will use stored Xss just to steal your cookies. Basically, the script looks like this. It's very simple. We basically create a link with a cookie and send it to my hacker server. The only trick is to use image source as a way to bypass same origin policy. I will add a comment, and now for you. Now it's your turn. Please refresh the page. And I will observe my logs, waiting for you to refresh the page with comments. I will refresh it. Drop table. And unfortunately, drop table won't work because it uses NoSQL database underneath. I don't see more. More cookies coming in. Apps. I know the problem. I was reconfiguring my server, and most likely I change this should work. Let's try once again. I will refresh and observe the logs. Yep. Okay, so this hacker server is not configured properly for HTTPS. It has a good HTTP version, but it doesn't have a proper SSL certificate for this hacker.yonlabs.com domain name. So that's why your browsers and my browsers blocked the connection. When I change it to HTTP, the image has been loaded, but actually your cookies has been stolen. So now for me to use one of your cookies, it's enough to copy it. I will use a cookie manager just to exploit the cookie. This is my cookie. I will edit it, and I've pasted one of stolen ones. And now it's enough for me to refresh the page, and I'm logged in as Fubar. So Fubar, congratulations, your session has been hijacked. Thank you for your cooperation. So basically, in the first demo, you've seen how easy it is to steal username and passwords or any other vulnerable data as the hacker wants. In this demo, you've seen how easy it is to hijack a session, and that's very serious security vulnerability. The problem was in two places. The first one obviously was XSS, but the second one was the weak session management. So basically, with cookies, we should use secure and HTTP only flags. Secure flag says that the cookie is sent over secure channels only. And the second, HTTP only, says that cookies can't be accessed from JavaScript. So basically, in my phishing JavaScript, in my stored XSS in a comment section, I've used JavaScript, right? Just to access a cookie and send it to my hacker server. So in case of strong secure cookies, it wouldn't work. HTTP only blocks access from JavaScript to cookies, and that way the hacker would get like empty string or undefined object, depending on a browser. And that's one very important difference between cookie-based session management and token-based session management. Maybe not between those two mechanisms, cookie versus token, but between storage mechanism. Because with tokens, we usually store them in session storage. So there is no way to block access to session storage for JavaScript. So basically, in case of cookie-based session management, we can protect session. In case of storage-based session management, usually with tokens, we have no way to protect the storage. So that's why it's usually recommended to use secure cookies, even with tokens. So even though you use, for example, JSON Web Tokens, you can store them in cookie instead of session storage. Plus some other best practices for session management to improve your cookies and session ID. But it's not the main interest of the session, so I won't dive deeply into it. And the last problem. So let's assume that we have a secure cookie, so we can't steal a cookie. And what can we do as hackers? We can still use the cookie. How can we do that? Basically, we will modify the parameters via XSS injected JavaScript code. We will modify the parameters of a form, and we automatically send this form to a server. So the result will be that this form will use the cookie of your browser, the cookie of a victim. And note that any anti-Csrf protection will not work. As developers, we've learned that for our forms, we usually should use anti-Csrf tokens. Csrf stands for cross-site request forgery. It's some sort of attack where a hacker provides a fake page, but pointing with a form pointing to the original server, and it exploits the feature of a browser or the functionality of a browser that browser always sends a cookie when it sends a request to a server. A cookie is available in the browser. And usually to protect against Csrf, most frameworks with cookie-based session management have some sort of anti-Csrf protection, usually in the form of a unique token per form. But unfortunately, with XSS, we can bypass all those protection. So let's move to the fifth demo. In this demo, please stay logged in. I will send a link on my Twitter account. This link just replaces some parameters in the form and sends it to the original server using your cookie. So basically using your session. Okay, so it's sent, and now I will observe comments coming in. Please click the link, but click it while you are staying logged in. Okay, I will try it myself. Yeah, we have the first. But this was my link. Is everything fine with the link? Maybe I will post it in the chat because I couldn't.
I think the link got broken in some way because it Twitter seems to have divided into several links.
Yes. Okay, I will post it in the chat instead. Wait a moment, please. Okay, and waiting for you to click the link. I'm just refreshing the page. It worked on my computer. How about yours?
I don't know, but I'm not sure that you're I'm not sure that you're actually posting it in the Zoom chat.
Okay.
Or is anybody else seeing the link from?
No, no link.
No.
No.
So I don't see any other chat here.
I think you should post it in the. There is at the bottom screen of your Zoom. There is a chat icon. Hopefully, I guess you need to go back to your Zoom client.
Yes, it's active. Okay. Maybe I will do another thing. I can't. Do you see my chat window on my screen?
No.
Okay, but because it doesn't show Zoom itself.
So maybe if you stop sharing your screen and see it, and then go back to screen sharing after that.
Yes, I will do that.
And maybe you see the chat icon on the bottom middle screen in the Zoom client.
I must say that I have a lot of problems with Zoom.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I used other software, and I didn't have any problems with them. And with Zoom, that's the second time I'm giving virtual talk with Zoom, and unfortunately, the second time I'm having some problems. Fortunately, the first time I didn't have any demos, so it worked fine, more or less fine. I had to be very focused. It looks like I'm using the chat.
Okay. If I'm sharing, so do you see my screen now? So there's an icon down here.
Yes, yes, I know.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, I found. Okay, I said okay. Everyone in the meeting. Yep. Do you see my link now?
So now I managed to screw up too, actually. Why don't I see?
Yeah, but I got some replies from others. They are seeing it. So that's good. We managed to fight.
Niklas, kan du forcera att jag inte delar skärm? There it is. Thank you, Niklas.
Okay, at least some other accounts has been hacked. So after some problems, we've managed to do that together. Thank you very much for your help and cooperation. And I will explain in a moment what happened during this demo. So basically, the attack vector was to download comment JavaScript with such a JavaScript function. Basically, it finds the first form on a web page. We know that the hacker, or I know that it was the form to send a comment. We just change the value of a comment and we submit a form. So if a victim is logged in, and the victim's browser will attach the actual cookie automatically. So, and any anti-CSRF tokens will not work. So basically, if you have an XSS in your page, any anti-CSRF protection won't work. So far, we've seen several dangerous usages of XSS. First of all, session hijacking. Second, serious technical impact is scraping sensitive information. Another problem is posting data on someone else's behalf. So basically, think about any banking system or more serious application. We don't want to be exploited that way, that, for example, someone sends a wire transfer in our name. That's why those web application, like banking applications, they use two-factor authentication just to avoid such issues. I sometimes give trainings about security for developers, and I was talking about this banking application example, and I said that obviously most banks have two-factor authentication. They have like you need to accept wire transfer in other way, like via second channel, usually some sort of mobile push confirmation. But at that moment, when I was explaining that banks are pretty well secured, this guy from the participant from a bank said that in their case, they accept wire transfers under some amount, like, for example, 10 euros, without any other confirmation. So basically, it means that together with XSS, this bank was vulnerable to even financially exploiting their users. The other ways how XSS can be exploited via hackers is like malicious redirects. Think that a user, a victim, visits a trusted page. So it's not suspicious to click any link on that page. And this link can redirect to a spoofed login page. It can redirect, it can trigger some malicious download. So basically, it can compromise the entire machine of a victim. So basically, recommended defenses. Strong typing, input validation, sanitization with output contextual escaping. However, we usually don't do this ourselves. We use a proper web frameworks and proper APIs. So most modern frameworks support contextual escaping, and it's pretty well implemented. However, still there are some problems.
So, Patrycja, we are getting short on time.
Yeah, that's why I'm skipping, because there are many rules for HTML escaping, and it's pretty difficult. you can find more rules at OWASP XSS cheat sheet. However, don't implement this yourself, use a modern framework. But even with modern frameworks, they have some problems still. So some problems that every couple of years, there are new security vulnerabilities disclosed. So it's important to move to latest versions, and it's important from the security point of view to track security vulnerability databases. It's pretty difficult to avoid XSS at all. So it's good to implement additional anti-XSS rules like content security policy. It's basically the most important rule against XSS. So this way we can block any scripts to be downloaded from the predefined sites, from any other than predefined sites. So we can say that this our application can't download any other scripts besides our domain TLD. So that's really very important. And the general advice is never trust a user. Always validate the data that are passed from a user, because anything can happen on the user side. And another important thing for you to remember is that a fool with a tool is only a fool, so we need to use our tools in a smart way. And we need to keep educating ourselves just to broaden our horizons and better secure our applications. So thank you for your time and for your cooperation. After some problems, we managed to explore all 5 demos, and I hope that you'll find them enjoying. So it's time for your questions now.
Thank you very much. I will stop the recording, so
and
we can
I will
open
stop
up
sharing
for questions.